Well, it's interesting because I'm very involved with this next generation of young feminists, and the things that they're dealing with, the unintended consequences of what we had, what we did. I mean, that's going to always be the case. The next generation's always stuck with the unintended consequences of the decisions of their parents. We had no idea that when we opened up and it became, we had a certain comfort in sexuality. I mean, remember, I grew up where abstinence was it. And I mean, this was Roe versus Wade was during my lifetime. So it's now the girls are dealing with this level of rudeness that never would have occurred to us, because when you tamp down all that sexuality pre the hippie movement, I mean, sex was not talked about. It was not discussed. It was not had. Be a good girl. Good girls don't like it. If you like it, you're a bad girl. Men have mistresses as bad girls. They have wives as good girls. You have to be a wife, not a mistress. I mean, that whole thing. I mean, I'm literally telling you, I was literally told, pretend you like it. The whole 9 yards, all that stuff in all those 40s and 50s movies, I lived it. But now guys are so rude. I mean, they would never have said these things to us. I would never have had a rape threat. I would never have been, just this attitude that the guys now have of, well, girls owe me. That's an unintended consequence. So they're fighting a whole different battle than what we had to fight. I mean, I got hit on. We had those moments. I did have to transfer out from under a boss, but it's just a different battle. So earning respect now is much harder. I think that's where the battle is. And the industry is still heavily male-dominated, but I don't think it's necessarily that it's just because the industry is unwelcoming. Now, I may be tougher than a lot of women, and I'm sort of used to that sort of male locker room environment, and I'm comfortable in it because I'm a total tomboy. But we do need more diversity, that's for sure. And the games, I have no problem with the games. Someone who was it that posted recently in Indie Games about, well, how would you feel about this game? And it was like, well, if you want to build, it was a game of torture. What do you think about a game about torture? Wow. Yeah, it was a very controversial choice, and it's like, I won't play it, but I'm not going to advocate not building it, if that makes sense. I don't want to play it, but I think, well done, it could be a good game. Badly done, it could be, a sadist's place to go hang out and practice. I don't know, but so I do believe that there's room for. I don't want to limit, and then that's part of the whole fear of women in the industry. There's fear there, right? Oh, they're going to change it, and I personally, I can't speak for other women, but I personally don't want to change it. I don't want to say, hey, don't do those games. I just want to say, hey, do these games too. Do all of the games. Let's we don't stop having pornographic movies just because we have Pride and Prejudice as a film. They're two separate films. They're completely different audiences, and they don't have to wipe each other out. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be, God knows, it has to be both. We're living in a world where people have a limited amount of discretionary income, and we're in an industry totally dependent on people's discretionary income. Right? Yeah. So we have two choices. We either diminish our industry or we open our markets. I mean, that's just plain smart business. We need to open the market. The reason the women's games haven't been opening to the market is because men have been making those decisions.